Welcome to another Coffee and Curveballs. I am Tommy. He is Shooter. Class of 2024 pre-summer draft rankings. There's a lot to unpack here, but Shooter, we always see it. Somebody in the big leagues does something that everybody wants to copy. We got the Ohtani wannabes. Are we going to start seeing this over and over and over again now?
I don't know if we will, but it sure is fun to write about and look forward to following throughout the summer and into the next year with regards to this high school class, but also college has some big time two-way guys. But this 24 group, there's some star power all over, coast to coast. I'm excited to check it out. It's not just those big name states. It's the Midwest, the Northeast, all over the place. We got a lot of talent.
So we will start with the Ohtani wannabes. There's 4 of them. We will start with a big name state, though, not to contradict what we were just talking about. But Bryce Rayner, who is literally in everything.
Yeah, so Bryce Rayner out of that prospect powerhouse at Harvard Westlake that just churns out big leaguers. But he's been our number one player for a while now. A lot had to do with the fact that he was so good on the mound as a freshman, up into the mid-90s, just so easy out of the hand. It's effortless stuff. He profiles as probably the top right-handed arm in this class if he was just doing that. But most of what he's done the last couple of years has been at the plate. And as a left-handed hitter, he's gotten stronger, about 6'3", 190 or so now. He can play center field. He runs like a gazelle. He can go to shortstop. He can go to third base. But when it comes down to it, it's that left-handed bat and the power potential that he has there that really stands out.
An outfielder, right-handed pitcher, Connor Griffin.
And anybody who doesn't know Connor Griffin yet, they're going to know him by the end of this summer. And any draft, those draft followers who are just locked in, Connor Griffin's that cornerstone potential piece. I don't want to throw this on him, but like a Bobby Witt Jr., just the fact that he has that type of athleticism, the explosiveness off the barrel, the fact that he could play shortstop. He's moved more to center field now because he's such a great athlete, can really hoop, gets on the hardwood and can throw it down. But that back can stand out. But he also hops on the bump. He's up into the mid-upper 90s, can spin it. It's kind of like a backup plan just because he's such a good position player. But he would also be one of the top right-handed arms in the class as well.
We're going to talk about a lot of southpaws in a little bit, but first we got to talk about one that does both hitting and pitching, Noah Franco.
So you're talking about Noah Franco, was a California kid. He's playing at IMG. Similar to Connor Griffin, he reclassed up. They were both 2025s. They're now 24s, which will help them in the algorithms. You go into the professional teams and those clubs, they move up a notch just because they'll be a little bit younger. They're not too young for the class. But Noah Franco profiles really well. Square shoulder, very similar to Rayner, but he's a left-handed arm up into the mid-90s. Not quite as polished there, but it's so explosive. And the fact that he still has that high upside and that high ceiling that he can get to, I love the bat and the way that plays. I think he can be a true any fielder with left, center, or right. But the bat's going to play in the middle of the order with some time, but the power production from him. And then one more two-way guy who I really like from the state of Virginia, South Carolina commit Dalton Wentz. He's just the dude that you want in a big situation. Whether it's on the mound, he's going to hammer hands. He bullies inside fastballs on wood bats. I mean, bring a couple up there, fellas, because he's going to be looking to break those things over. But can get those strikeouts up in the low mid-90s, 3-pitch mix. But then he's also a switch hitter, will play any position on the infield, but can really turn the barrel. It's a heavy barrel. He gets hits, and he plays angry with intent to win. Really big Dalton Wentz fan.
So those are the 4 Ohtani wannabes. We have 7 left-handed throwers. There is a lot of them. We're going to try and get through them somewhat quickly. We'll start with Brayton Thomas from Indiana.
So we'll go with Brayton Thomas at the top just because I love everything about Brayton Thomas. The way he competes, it's going to be a mid-90s fastball, I think, this summer with a real slider, feel for the changeup, and another guy who is not scared. That's one of those titles where I put on a guy when I really like him. Dude's not scared. He goes out there. He's looking to be the best on the diamond. But this class as a whole has a ton of really big physical left-handed arms. Brayton Thomas not alone. When you're looking at a guy like T.P. Wentworth, who's a 3-sport kid from NorCal, Boston Bateman, about 6'7" with an explosive arm, and Jordan Stribling, a kid from Dallas Jesuit, who's also a big physical kid, basketball player who's just going to be coming back this summer. But Cash Mayfield in Oklahoma, real silky smooth down the mound, crazy numbers this spring. I expect him to jump up throughout the summer. Ethan Scheifelbein out by you. He's at Corona High School. Pump strikes, gets whiffs, doesn't walk anybody. He's from Southern California. It's an easy bet for a guy like that who has a starter profile. And then Jackson Sanders, who's a big-time name out of the state of Alabama, a longer arm stroke, but it's kind of an uncomfortable look and an outlier situation. So I think he could have a big summer as well.
And just going back to Boston Bateman, probably on the all-hair team, I would think. Has to be.
But you know what? He does. And Brayton Thomas is very similar hairstyle. So those guys get out there and get after a little Rod Beck in them.
Love it. We'll go to the Midwest, Great Plains area. Let's talk about a shortstop, J.D. Dix.
So J.D. Dix, we're talking about, you're down in Southern California, the home of great shortstops. Wisconsin is sneaky, the home of great shortstops, and they have a lot of them. J.D. Dix is the next in line. Switch hitter from Wisconsin. He's from a talented hitters program. Really like the way he plays the game, but he's physical. He's only getting better. A really good athlete, can steal a bag or two. But at that size, you almost look at him like this guy could play hockey right now. But love everything about him. He's going to be a big-time name throughout the next year. Nebraska's Cale Fountain was committed to LSU. That power is can't miss. He might have the biggest power, raw power in the class. It stays compact. It's a physical frame. The more reps he gets, he's only going to get better there. And then you go down to Dante Nori. He's a Mississippi State recruit, center fielder from the state of Michigan. A little bit older for the class, but man, it is just some explosive athleticism. He's dynamic, but the thunder in the barrel. He hits it hard. He explodes out of the box. What's not to like?
More pitchers. That's what's not to like either, or what's not to like. Who will be the top arm in this class? We got a couple guys, 4 guys that you want to mention.
Yeah, so a lot of times you go into the summer like, hey, these are the dudes. You're passing them up. The draft ends, and then those area guys and the cross-checkers know, like, hey, these 5 are the dudes. In the 23 class, it was kind of a down year for those arms. Yes, Noble Meyer really stepped up. He's become that big arm. There's some other guys that are with him, but it's not like massive staying power at the top. We're still waiting on this 24 class. Anson Siebert, a guy who's moving up close to the top 10 right now from the state of Kansas, another physical 6'6", 6'7" frame. He's able to put it all together. He was explosive last summer. 3-pitch mix. That fastball plays very heavy. He's a Tennessee recruit. I love him. I think he's going to have that big summer. Right behind him, easy to bet on a Texas kid, Kason Evans, who's been up into the mid-90s. Really good breaking ball, splitty change, can mix it up in there. He's a good athlete, gets down the mound well. And then you got to go to Florida at some point, right? There's going to be a first rounder down there. So you have 3 big righties there, Chase Mobley, Skylar Sanford, and Dylan Jordan, who could all explode this summer. Mobley and Sanford really have explosive stuff from the right side. They're big physical frames. And then Dylan Jordan, you're looking at a guy who's got a longer arm stroke, but it comes out of the hand and he really tunnels that slider well. The changeup keeps getting better. I think he's going to be a big name that guys discover this summer.
And final thing we got to talk about, this is your specialty, the gut feel guys. Who are the guys? On paper, yes, they're good, but for whatever reason, in shooters' eyes, they are exceptional. We got 5 of them, starting with Johnny King.
And you have to take this with the fact that I'm looking at these names all the time, right? The guys who are up super high, those are common names for me for 3 years. Bryce Rayner's been there. Connor Griffin, those are everyday names to me that the lukewarm fan is just starting to know. These are guys where I look, I'm like, I think he's got a chance to explode. Johnny King, two-way, had stellar spring this year. I think he, as a Miami commit from the Naples area, has a chance to really explode this summer. Carter Johnson, Alabama shortstop, left-handed hitter. He actually came onto the map at our Future Games last year where he kind of stole the show. Can really control the barrel, move it around to all fields, a good athlete. He's adding strength right now. I think scouts are going to love the way he swings the bat. Kind of similar to a guy like Colt Emerson, but maybe even with a little more athleticism. Jace Lee, another guy who was excellent at the Future Games last year from the state of Indiana, committed to Notre Dame. He just oozes potential. The athleticism, the bat speed, the way he runs, plays the field, really checks a lot of boxes when you're looking towards the draft. Dasson Hill, a left-hander. Dallas Baptist, they find some arms, man. He's committed there. It comes out real easy. The velo just continues to rise, similar to a lot of other Dallas Baptist recruits in the past. He's in the low 90s now. I would think he's tickling a 94, 95 at some point this summer. And then I'll end it up with the Midwest that we were talking about has a really good crop of talent. And Illinois in particular has some really good prospects in the top 100. But Tyler Bell, committed to Pittsburgh. He can really turn the barrel. He does not miss the ball at the plate. He can turn that barrel. Everything's explosive. The lower half, he gets that torque. But his pitch processing, pitch recognition, ability to hit in all counts is something that I love. And the more scouts see him, they'll love him too.
Now, you mentioned Dallas Baptist. They're turning into almost Gonzaga has the basketball, where you think basketball, Gonzaga basketball. Dallas Baptist turning into that baseball school.
Well, Texas just has so many players. There can only be so many each school. Dallas Baptist just keeps getting all those guys who want to come in and get better.
All right, there's the very early preview of the 2024 draft class. Shooter, anything else to add?
No, it's going to be fun watching these guys all summer, and we'll have that update coming at the end of the summer. Stay tuned, prepbaseballreport.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram.
All righty. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Shooter, for joining us. We'll see you.